I never really expected to say this going into my season 5 reviews for Only Murders in the Building, but has this season bitten off a little more than it can chew? Is there too much going on to keep our interest on a weekly basis for a 30-minute show? Now, don't get me wrong, Omit B is still one of the best written and performed shows on television. That is no question in my mind. The way that this show is presented to us and laid out is fantastic. But episode 5 of season 5, this week's episode, might have proved that this show works at its best when less is more. I am still very much into everything we are seeing from this show in this season's story specifically, but episode 5 kind of diverted from where I really wanted to see the story going. We were left off on a pretty major cliffhanger in last week's episode, episode 4. The whole podcast situation had just happened with all of the billionaires, and that was basically left completely behind in this week's episode. While that was barely touched on, we actually have 2 more important story threads that we're going to have to pay attention to for the rest of the season. We have everything going on with Lester's coworkers, and then the end of the episode revealed that the wives of Lester and Nikki, Lorraine and Sophia, might have some type of partnership. So right now we have 2 murders, the death of Lester and Nikki. We have the adversary billionaires who are coming after our trio. We have Lester's coworkers, the Arconia staff, and we have 2 wives who could possibly be responsible for the death of their husbands. Now, the bigger question is how the hell does all of this connect to each other? And just quickly, because I haven't talked about it, I don't think Lorraine or Sophia are responsible for their husband's death. I think that's specifically placed there to lead our trio astray away from what the real story is. On the flip side, something that this episode did very well was focus on the dynamic of our trio and really kind of focus in on the sensitive and vulnerability side of our main characters, right? There's a number of moments throughout this episode where Mabel is either reacting to finding out Oliver has an offer on his apartment, or Charles feeling left behind that Oliver has gotten married and he's had trouble with his love life in the past. There's a lot of those moments throughout the episode that highlights the best parts of this show and these characters. And of course, in Omit B style, that comes with some great comedic moments, specifically from Charles in this episode. He has been pumped with hormone drugs and he now has this little fling with Sophia, and their relationship and dynamic is so incredibly funny, but he also has some really good moments with Oliver and Mabel. We're officially halfway through season 5, and my biggest question going into the second half of the season is how does this all connect to each other? Everything is kind of placed out in distance from each other, and I've never been led wrong by Only Murders in the Building. I have complete trust in this show, but I am very curious in finding out how all of this is brought back around to each other.